Morning, everybody. Petri and File Control. Hope everybody is ready and waiting for a drive. It seems as we are experiencing another technical problem on the Jigger, and I've just asked Rexon just to reboot everything on the Jigger, and let's hope it works. Okay, I've got the picture there now, and we'll be rock and rolling now as I speak.
Seconds to countdown.
Powering up.
Standing by for an eye picture. Picture's looking good. Sound is good. Stand by for the countdown.
Copy 5-5.
5, 4, 3.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone's been well. I'm sorry about the delay. We did have a few technical difficulties again this morning, but hopefully we're all ready to rock and roll. So let's see what's out there. Morning all stations, Tide departing on, morning Safari. I'm going to try and see if I can keep it a lot more slower this morning.
Yeah, last second, go again.
Good morning stations, Tide departing on, morning Safari.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, I wanted to send any of our taking Mama Road. No update so far.
Copy, thank you.
Take a minute.
So the dawn course was very nice this morning, eh? Had quite a cheeky hornbill greeting me this morning outside the room. So just watching, seeing if there's any fruit or insects around to eat. It's a red-billed hornbill. Very nice. Very much so. I've missed them. We don't really get the hornbills upon my reserve. We get the grey hornbill, but the southern yellow-billed we get it very occasionally, but you don't see it very often. So it's very nice. And I love their call as well. It's quite distinctive. Say, go back, go back, go back, go back. It's very nice. I've got a Franklin just up ahead on the road. It's just moving into the bush. So they were the birds that were making a lot of noise last night when we were watching the leopards. They were giving their evening vestas. I think he's gone into the bush now. But they tend to duet when they call, the male and female. Usually during the mornings to find each other again, territorial marking, that sort of thing. Just watching for that sun just behind us there now. Looks like it's going to be quite a beautiful sunrise. Sure, just so I can get out to the open bit. I must admit I love the morning home. When it's nice and quiet, still, the sun's just rising, then you get the birds calling. Oh, it's stunning. nice breeze as well this morning. There it goes, the sun comes through there. That is beautiful. Wow. So I was saying yesterday I had a guest and she was panicking because the sun was rising red, and she was from Australia, and she says when the sun rises red there in Australia, it's actually bushfires are going to happen that day. So I said, no, don't panic, we're not going to get bushfires, don't worry. It's too wet.
Happens it's more windy. Especially late afternoon.
It was beautiful. I want to get a picture of them. Never comes out the very deep colours. I have to see if I can download some of these pictures onto the website. So I have always had a huge interest in photography. And I had an Olympus 10, which was a film camera. But going out with guests and trying to load film and try and get the right moment with the animals, it used up so much film and it got very expensive. So I switched to digital, and it was awesome. I switched to digital about August, and I went whale watching down in Hermanus, and I'm so glad I did. I've got some of my best pictures up on Redbubble on the website, which is a photography website. That's a beautiful sunrise there. It's actually quite still here, eh? Beautiful. You see all this yellow thatching grass blowing in the wind here. Very common grass in South Africa, and you do often drive along the roadsides and people are cutting it down, making it into bundles for thatching, for roofs. Unfortunately, it's not very nutritional. That's why it grows so long. Animals don't like to eat it because it's not very tasty and not very nutritional. So it gets left. Maybe the young shoots get eaten, but it mostly gets left. Hence why it reaches these very, very tall heights, sometimes even taller than me, which is quite amazing. We're going to try and head towards the dam this morning, see if there's any animal activity, bird life around there. For those of you who weren't tuned in yesterday, I'm actually just visiting at the moment. I'm from a game reserve much further north than we are here, called Entebeni. It's actually up in the Waterberg, so it's much different to this reserve. And when I was invited to come down and do a couple of game drives down here in the famous Sabi Sands, I couldn't resist, especially with the leopard. We don't see leopard very often, so that was a fantastic opportunity, so I definitely took it up. As I say, I'm still finding my way around this area. It's quite a smaller concession to what we're used to driving on, hence why I think I was driving a little bit fast yesterday for some of the viewers, because we used to traversing 22,000 hectares. So we do have to go slightly faster just to get to where the animals might be, and then we start tracking the animals. So we have to sort of know where they've been the day before to give us an idea of where to go. So as I say, the elephants like to do funny things on that reserve. They like to do 180-degree turns on themselves and go back the way they came. And so it can be quite fun. You can drive quite far distances to look for those animals. The area is beautiful. Okay, got a dove in the road here. Looks like a Cape turtle dove with the black eye and the black ring around its neck there. A very typical bush sound, and if you put the words to it, they'll either say work harder, or if you, in the other school of thought, drink lager. So it's a very bad influence, this bird, but I say if you go the other side, work harder. I say one of the very first bird calls you do get used to hearing around the bush. It's a very common bird call. It's a very characteristic, that black eye and the black collar around the neck there. Looking for any seeds that he can find. Mostly seed eaters, but they will eat a few insects as well. I can just hear the rattling Sister-Cola again. It's going to be quite a hot one today, huh? Yeah. Looking out for any movement this morning. See if we can see the back of a rhino or the trunk of an elephant. Some more doves sitting in the road here. You're going to be able to see this. You see the little blue flower there? So there's only one, but you see it just in there. Like something that we get back on our reserve. I don't know if you can help me. It looks like a Commelina, Venus's bath, but it's not opened up fully yet. So I might just have to see if I can ID it, or if there's any viewers that can ID it. But it definitely looks like Venus's bath. If you have a look just below the flower itself, there's a little pocket where water comes out, and that's where it gets its nickname Venus's bath from. Looks like a Commelina. If any viewers can actually confirm that for me. So especially with it being cool, it's actually folded its petals over. Little kingfisher here, just on the branch. Let's see if we can get past. Just confirm that. Oh, he would fly. I don't know, did you get a good shot of it? Just very, very slowly. Just want to double check. So it almost looked like the striped kingfisher. As I said, I just wanted to have a look at the bill. Because in the lower half of the bill it's red, whereas on the woodland it's fully red. But just the way he was sat crouched over him, it was very difficult to see the back. But it did look like it had the stripes down the front there, so I think it looked like a striped kingfisher. Do you get them in this area? You do? Yeah. So I just wasn't quick enough with the binoculars. The striped kingfisher, along with most of the other kingfishers in South Africa, actually eat insects and lizards. You maybe get 4 species that really concentrate on fish. The woodland kingfisher, I've heard of it fishing a couple of times, but if you read the books, they're not really supposed to fish. But as I said yesterday, the animals don't read the books, they don't watch the documentaries. So it's quite interesting for each individual in a different area what's going on with it. But the striped kingfisher is one of those you'll find away from the water. They'll be in the bushveld eating the insects and the lizards. As I say, most of my training is from university as well as the Bush Academy in South Africa. I did zoology at university, so my main interest is actually in animal behavior. But when I came over to South Africa, it really opened my eyes to what else the bush has to offer. So obviously from the plants, the animals, the birds, and it renewed my interest in astronomy. So I always had an interest in astronomy, but living in the UK you don't really get to see the skies very much. So out here you get these beautiful open skies with very little light pollution, and there's been some awesome sights up in the skies there in the heavens. I say at the moment you can see Mars and Venus at the same time, and Venus is rising as the evening star, so she's found in the west and Mars is found in the east in the evening. Very, very bright red. You can't mistake Mars for anything else at the moment. But Venus is also known as a morning star, so it just depends on what time of the cycle she's in. So for 8 months she can be the evening star, for roughly around 2 months she disappears, and then for 8 months after that she becomes the morning star, and then she starts the cycle again. I think Mercury has also been up as the morning star very recently.
Dạ, đang nói là Nhật Bản là Pamano. Pramita.
If there's any viewers that were watching last night, thank you very much for all those lovely comments. It was very kind of you. Really glad that you enjoyed the drive last night. Hopefully we'll make this one a good one too. So unfortunately I go back to my own reserve today, so I've got quite a long drive ahead of me after this. But, part of me doesn't want to leave. Don't know if you're going to be able to pick that up. There's a chegra that's calling in the bush just to our left. Oh, he's just flown off. See if you can get a picture of him. It almost sounds like a whistle that's someone's been drunk and they're trying to whistle. It's all over the place. Sort of. I think we might be a little bit far away to hear it. It's a beautiful bird. It's got a lot of brown with a dark crown on him, and then a white eye stripe. A black-crowned chegra. Again, these birds like to go into the thick bush, so it's very rare you see them. You hear them a lot, but you don't always see them. So it goes. It's flown off. Road for any tracks. See if there's anything. Aha! Don't know if can you get that blue flare at the back there? There's a nice shot of the Commelina I was trying to show you earlier. The Wandering Jew. Let me just see if I can point it out.
And by what?
Can you take the camera off? So I don't want to pick it, to try and be as ethical as possible. I'll see if we can turn it towards the camera. You see it down there? Here you go. There. If I can see if I can turn it around for the camera, bear with me. Now the Wandering Jew is its other name, let's say Commelina, and it's the Wandering Jew, as I say, it has its other nickname, the Venus's Bath, because of the little droplet of water that comes out the sheath. But it's for the Commelinas. They were very good botanists, called Caspar and Johann, and the two main petals were actually supposed to represent them. And unfortunately their third brother actually died before he reached botanical fame. So there's actually a little petal you can't see because it's overbared by the two on the top. And that's supposed to represent their third brother that died at a very early age. So the Commelina, or the Wandering Jew is its other name. Now apparently you can eat the leaves, almost like a spinach. So it's found in other parts of the world as well. There is a yellow one as well. That one is found here. I'm not sure if it's found on this reserve. Is it found on the reserve? Do you know? Yellow. And this one's Commelina africana. So this little blue one is Commelina bengalensis. There are quite a few Commelinas and they all look slightly different. But I say beautiful flower nonetheless. With it being very thick bush, the animals may just be hiding behind those bushes there. So it's very easy to miss them. I'm just trying to see, I keep getting caught by termite mounds at the moment. Some quite large termite mounds. They just look like the back end of a rhino or a small elephant. Lion is probably the lion. The lion and the rhino sort of joint seconds. After working in Australia, I've almost become quite a huge fan of them. I never really thought much of them to begin with, but they are incredibly intelligent creatures, which just to look at them you wouldn't really think so. They kind of just eat a bit, sleep a bit. They don't seem to do much, but believe me, they are very intelligent. To the point that I recognize people, individual cars. Yeah, quite amazing creatures. Quite enjoy watching them and learning new behavior from them. But obviously the lions as well. I'm a very big cat fan. I say we have quite an interesting pride on our reserve. I'm not sure what the individuals are like on this. We saw the two males yesterday. You usually have a pride of females on the reserve. Now to me, this looks like the leopard tracks. So? Yeah. Looks like a male leopard. The leopard, the tracks are slightly different than a lion. Lions are much more spread out. Leopards are quite compact, and it's quite a pretty track. It's difficult to explain, but I don't know. Can you pick one of the tracks up on the road or not? Is it going to be a bit difficult? Yeah. We'll see if we can have a nice look. More. Okay. Oh, there. Okay. So just trying to position the camera for you, just so we can try and get a shot of one of the tracks. So you can kind of see what I'm trying to explain, but it's very compact. I'll say it's almost looks like a flower. It's quite a difficult one, but the toes on the lion are much more spread out from the pad itself. So if I can kind of just point at what I mean.
What? No. More backwards. There, yeah.
Okay. There you go. It's very compact. The line would be out of here. Well, they don't look too old. We never know, we might catch up with him. Just going to keep looking in these trees as we go by. Might have taken refuge up there now the sun's up. have some elephant tracks on the road now. Let's see if we can get a view at them again. So it's not a great angle, I don't think. You got them? Yeah. Now I know it looks quite difficult to determine a direction from the track itself. I'll just see if I can point it out to you and come back to the microphone again. Just remember how you walk. The last thing that comes into contact is your toe. So it's the same with the elephant. So you'll look for an indent in the sand where it's scuffed up, and that should give us a direction of where the elephant's going. I'll just see if I can point out the track. Did you see it quite nicely?
Left. Yeah, there.
The more oval one is the back foot, and the larger round one is the front foot. And just remember, most animals will carry their weight on the front. So most animals will have a larger front and a smaller back foot. Especially in hyena, it's quite a large difference. But in the cats and the dogs, it's quite a small difference, but it is there if you look for it. The same with the elephant as well. The smaller foot, obviously not carrying as much weight on the back than the front. Is there a dam near here? So we may catch up to this elephant. It looks fairly fresh, these tracks. So there's a lot of detail in them. And they are over insect tracks which start to move around in the morning. So at least we know there is leopard and elephant somewhere in the area. Is there a dam in that direction where the tracks are going? Okay. I was just seeing if it's worth trying to follow these elephant tracks. Apparently the boundary is very close to the reserve, to the neighbouring reserve. So it could have been that elephant went onto the neighbouring reserve. So the best time of day to do tracking is early morning. You need to make sure that you have the sun in the right direction, so you're supposed to stand on the opposite side to where the sun is to view the track, and that helps with the shadows that are cast on the track, so it should help you to see the track a lot more clearly. So if you try and do tracking in midday, it's very, very difficult. The sun's right overhead, so you don't really get any shading, so it's very, very difficult to see those tracks. I don't know if you can see up ahead on the road, there's some very clear tracks of the elephants now. You can see those circles, they just stand out very, very nicely. Especially if you have the sun facing you and you get them walking all down the road. It's quite a nice view actually, I like it. I've got the leopard tracks here again, coming around this corner. Let's see if there's any giveaway signs in these Marula trees again. See this nice big Marula tree pushed over, probably by the elephants, wanting to get at the fruit. Unfortunately, elephants do cause quite a lot of damage to the bush. So if you have an overpopulation, it can actually damage the bush quite dramatically. But they do also have their place in the bush. So if they do push a tree over, the tree forms a natural seed bed and it collects any seeds, and these seeds will then be protected by the branches from anything eating them. So they do have a place to help regenerate the bush, but if you have too large a population, as I say, it can disturb the bush quite a lot. This is one thing you guys don't get to have, and that's these spider webs that span across the road, and occasionally you get one crossing your face, like this one here. Especially the bark spiders, they tend to like to build webs across the road. I nearly ran into one the other night and managed to stop just in time. There's a squirrel that's just shouting quite a lot. When a tree squirrel shouts, it can mean there's a predator around. So I'm just going to back up and try and check it out. Sorry? Sounds like it's coming from that tree at the back there. Have a quick check. Could also be a snake in the tree, something small. I think it's further back actually. They're not happy. It could even be a raptor in the tree. As I say, animals will help you to find the predators. I say the calls that they give off, or even just the reactions. I've found lines a couple of times just by the reaction of the impala. Whatever it is, it's moved away now, I think. It's gone very quiet now. It's still going. So the tree squirrel is about this big. It's quite a long bushy tail. We'll see if we can get a view from the other side. A little bit of a bumpy road, just going to try and take it quite slowly. So that squirrel's gone very quiet now. Have a nice check around, see if there's anything moving around the bank here. Anything in the water. It looks very quiet this morning though. And maybe you can help me out. Those, the white in the trees, they're from the foam nest frog. It's the first time I've actually seen those. It's amazing. That is beautiful. I think that you can actually see a frog on the tree. I don't know if you've got it on the camera. There we go. So it's actually producing the nest as we're speaking. That's very nice. I'm a bit rusty on my foam nest frog, but I think they, correct me if I'm wrong, but they rub their back legs together as the jelly comes out, and then they attach it to the branch, and that actually holds the eggs inside the nest. Yeah, that's very nice. So you've got the male is slightly smaller than the female, so he will be holding her in the inguinal clasp. So he holds her with the front legs just around underneath her front legs. And as I say, as she's producing the eggs, he's obviously fertilizing them, and they're rubbing the back legs together to make this nest. As I say, I'm a little bit rusty, so if any viewers can just check up on that for me, that'll be great. I say this is the first time I've actually seen it, which is awesome. And it sounds quite crazy getting excited by a frog nest, but when it's the first time you've seen it, it's brilliant. And that's the beauty of the bush. There's always new things. You're always learning constantly. I've got an Egyptian goose flying in. Just flying over. Unfortunately, we're getting quite hidden now by the leaves. Going quite deep into the leaves there. I think they're probably making sure they're being hidden away from any predators. Say hammerkops do eat frogs. A type of bird with looks like an old hammerhead. That's the direct translation of it, and they will eat a lot of frogs. So I'm surprised we haven't seen any this morning, especially with all these nests. Now when the tadpoles actually emerge, you can see that the nests are built over the water, and once the tadpoles start to form, they'll actually drop into the water, if I remember correctly. Hence why the nests are built over the water for that reason. Nature is amazing. Always find a way. Alright, should we move on? I'm impressed with that. I like that. I still had the leopard tracks here. So I'm actually amazed. It looks like there's very little bird life here this morning. See all the weaver bird nests hanging in the tree here as well. They look very old though, I'm not hearing any chicks from them. And do you get crocodiles on the reserve?
Quite often.
Not often. Looks like we got the tracks in the road again. From the leopard still. And they're looking a lot fresher than they were back then. I think our radio comms with final control is still down by the sounds of it. But if there are any questions, feel free to still send them through. It's a grey go-away bird sitting in the tree at the top there. Let's see if we can move past these trees here. See, and there's another one joining. Now it used to be called the grey lory, but again with all the name changes, the lories got changed to turacos, and the turacos contain chiricovadin, chiricin, and that gives them the green purple colour. Now unfortunately this grey go-away bird doesn't contain any of those pigments, so the people that decide the bird names said, well, we can't really call it turaco, so let's give it its name that it actually says its name. It actually says go away. So it's like almost like oh woo. So they called it the grey go away bird. I think I prefer the grey lory myself, but again you can see that very heavy bill. They eat a lot of fruit. I can't see where the other one went now. Quite a distinctive bird. You can see that crest on top of the head there, very distinctive bird. And that long tail. It's very difficult to confuse it with anything else really. Oh, there's the other one. It's bouncing around at the top there. That's beautiful. It looks like they're in a knobthorn. I haven't seen a knobthorn since I did my training in the Bush Academy. If you look all the way down the tree, it has lumps on it. And these knobs you can actually take off and file down and use it as a snuff. There you go, you can see those lumps on it where it gets its name from, the knobthorn. Now in some areas I have seen knobthorns without any of these lumps on them, but very rarely. I'm not too sure why they wouldn't form lumps. Maybe it's a genetic mutation or something in the tree. I'm not too sure why. So I'm getting a very strong smell. I'm getting a very strong animal smell. Urine. You say the rhino. A very strong rhino smell. You see him? Oh. I think the wind just changed, so I just picked up that smell while we're sat here watching the lories and the knobthorn there. Like they were sleeping here. If you have a look here, it actually looks like the rhinos were sleeping here. You can see all the grass pushed down. Let's see if we can get the tracks here, which direction they did go in. Well, we've got the leopard tracks still going ahead, and it looks like the rhino tracks are going back the other way, going down that way. It's funny, if there's a storm coming, animals know, and I've noticed they tend to disappear into the thick bush, usually a day before. Especially we've got a lot of plains on our reserve. And if the animals are not there, then you can 90% of the time guarantee that there's a storm brewing, and it usually hits the next day. But the woodlands kingfisher calling again, the chip chirr. It's always worth just checking down the road as you're turning the road, because animals do like to sit in the road, especially when it's a little bit cooler, because the road will hold a lot of heat. So if the animal's sitting on the road, they can stay fairly warm, especially in the winter time. You'll get a lot of animals sitting on the road. So just looking again in these very tall trees for any leopard signs, any legs hanging down, any tails.
Stand by. Do not see nothing in the down. We're going to Mount Bush and then far away, but I will be slowly coming towards the direction. Yeah, also to me. And also I was also adding to them.
That temperature dropping now, eh?
Yeah.
Those clouds are building quite fast now. Yellow-billed hornbill just flew into the tree. Right at the back there, in the silver cluster leaf. One with all the dead leaves on it. Just moving around in there. Let's see if we can back up a little bit. No. As you see, sitting in the fork of the tree. Now, hornbills are not perching birds. There's another one just in the grass here. So they're not perching birds. They actually, lilac-breasted roller. I didn't even see that one. You can see it quite nicely. Oh, beautiful. And a red-billed hornbill. That's quite nice. We've got a difference here. As I say, they're not perching birds. They do have sort of two toes forward and 2 toes back on the hornbill. And that just gives them a lot more maneuverability on trees and things like that. They can actually scamper up and down trees. That roller is absolutely stunning though. Now the colours from birds, it just depends on what pigments they're containing. But with the blues, it tends to be what we call scattering of melanin. So the melanin that's in the feathers, there's little pockets of it, and it shines back or reflects the different wavelengths of colour. So if you have the light coming in, obviously on the roller here, we've got the blue reflecting back. So there's enough blue there, or enough melanin there to reflect that blue back. Same with the greens as well, with this, what we call the iridescent colours. Again, it's been a long time since I've seen a lilac-breasted roller. It's very beautiful. actually helping us out, just sitting there. Sure, that wind's really picking up now. Let's see. That was me thinking it was going to be quite a hot one this morning. Okay, well, we got the elephant tracks back on the road here. They're actually going in the right direction this time for us. So we're now on the southernmost boundary. There we go. Slowly learning. Yeah, well, this elephant looks like he's walked all the way down this road. So just going to keep a lookout ahead as well. See if he's further down. It does look like one single elephant. Probably a bull. Just remember, the females live in herds, quite large herds, can be. It looks like he was actually swinging his trunk across the road as well. I say that's one thing I haven't experienced yet, is a bull in must. Because we don't have bulls on the reserve, we have females, and it's quite a small herd. But just looking at these tracks, there's no urine marks, because when a bull's in must, the urine obviously dribbles down between the legs and it's constant flow. So you should get some marks of urine with the tracks if the bull is in must. All the must means is obviously when they rate a mate, they become quite aggressive because of the testosterone that's heightened in their bodies, ready for breeding. As I say, the urine dribbles and it smells, it's green. It's not really a nice condition to be in, I think, but so that's what must is all about. quick look. A little bit too far away. Okay. Forward. Yeah, just gonna have a quick look at this dung here. Obviously, it's very easy to tell it must be an elephant because obviously we have the elephant tracks down the road. But can you see the marula fruits that are on top? Or the seeds, the casings. So obviously elephants like to eat the fruits as well. So that's a big giveaway already that it's elephant. Obviously the size of it. But remember, elephants eat a lot of bark. So there's a lot of tannin in their dung as well. And that's what turns it this reddy brown colour. Now with the rhino, they use middens. They use toilets. And you can see there's just one pile literally on its own. So it's not part of them. You can't see any middens around here. So again, that's a big giveaway that it's elephant and not rhino. Even black rhino will use middens. And obviously they will also be eating twigs and things like that. So you will find branches in their dung. But as I say, you will have a toilet rather than the dung being on its own. So if you have a look in there. I don't know if I can, I'll just see if I can pick up a piece and just see if I can zoom in quite nicely. There you go, you can see all the bits of bark, bits of leaf in there as well. And with the flies being on it, it's not too old, and it's also in one piece. The dung beetles haven't got to it yet and destroyed it. So with any luck we might actually catch up with this bull elephant. I'm just going to take it slow through this old drainage line here to see if the leopard or the elephants around here. See anything? Going back that way. Now we got them here again. We got the leopard tracks here again. There's some more going that way as well. But they don't look that fresh. Yeah. It looks like the tracks are some tracks going off that direction. And some tracks coming back down the road. I'll just keep another look. Yeah, they go straight across the road here as well. There's some zebra tracks going off in there as well. Could be maybe they were following the zebra there. sure. It's very thick bush around here, hey. Very easy to miss an elephant or something. It always amazes me, an elephant of 4 to 6 tons, and they can hide so well. And they're very, very quiet as well. Very quiet. The only noise you really hear is when they're breaking branches when they're eating. But if they're walking through the bush, you just don't hear them. Remember, I was driving in Kruger once on main roads. The car just in front of me continued, and an elephant herd came out behind the car. The car didn't even see it. Crossed right around the back of the car. They carried on driving, so they hadn't seen them. I watched as they all crossed. I was thinking it must have been about 30 or so. And then as I got to where the elephants went in, I couldn't see them. I couldn't see them, I couldn't hear them. And what have we got in the road there? Little warthogs. Pumbas. Now I don't know about warthogs on this reserve. I know on our reserve, because the lions eat them so much, they're very skittish. So I'm just going to stop here and see if we can have a view of them, and then just see if we can get a little bit closer to them. So say with ours, they just run away so quickly. Now don't take it for granted that there's a male and female there. It's probably 2 females with the litter. And it is a female-dominated society again. It's a matriarchal society. So females are in charge, and they don't necessarily need to have a male around. So generally I've seen 2 females with the piglets like this. So I'm just going to see if we can get a little bit closer to them. So one of the best views of warthog I've ever had were when they're actually taking a mud bath. And they also took a mad half an hour. It was absolutely amazing. It was so funny to watch. So one was actually dancing on the spot, and then he would sort of run and headbutt its sibling, and then it would run again and start running on the spot. He literally decided he wanted to have a bit of fun, and that was how he was going to do it. Absolutely amazing. It ran off here. Unfortunately, I think with the other car coming the other way, I felt that they were cornered almost, so I think that's why they ran into the bush here. There we go. Now warthogs, they're not too dangerous, but if you had a look at the teeth, they're quite big, and the teeth actually curl around the top teeth, but the bottom teeth and the bottom jaw are actually razor sharp because they rub against the top teeth. So you get the top teeth curling around, and as I say, these bottom teeth you don't see. Now these are the canine teeth, and obviously on elephants you have the tusks, and these are the incisors, so these teeth here. So if you have the canine teeth, they're called the tushes, not tusks. And they're obviously a lot smaller than on the elephant. Morning. Morning. What? I don't know if any of the viewers need a toilet break. No, apparently you do a break halfway through. Okay, yeah, I think we're going to stop for a break then. Say if anybody does need the toilet, you can have your toilet break now as well. I'm going to just see if we can find a spot to stop around here. So it's usually about a 5-minute break. Yeah. So we're gonna be back in 5 minutes. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Petrine for control. Terra has got a great diversity of knowledge, and I am also enjoying her presenting and all information that she's providing to us, and this is absolutely phenomenal experience. And just enjoy Garuda. It's break time now, and I'll speak to you guys in the next 10 minutes time. Thanks very much.
Welcome back, guys. We're going to see if we can continue on trying to find that leopard or the elephant. So we're just going to drive now down the eastern boundary. Just see if we can't find one or both of those animals we've been looking for this morning. Always a personal pride to try and find the animals you've been looking at the tracks from. You always feel like you've achieved sort of your goal, if you like. Okay, we're just going to go back where we were yesterday and just see if the leopards are in the same area. And I think I see a spotted leg. So it's where the impala kill is up on the tree. Station with the engraved turret. Going to see if we can go in slowly and just see if we can get a nice view of it. There is another vehicle in the sighting, so we're just going to make sure that we don't block their view as well. Oh, we got a spotted hyena on the ground here as well. Sure. Again, it's been a while since I've seen the spotted hyena. He's just sniffing around the bottom, seeing if there's anything he can get a scrap of, or he's obviously smelling the impala that was up in the tree. I can actually see some of it actually dripping down there, so that's obviously what he's smelling, seeing if he can get anything from it to eat. Again, I'm not over familiar with the spotted hyena, but this looks quite small. It's fully grown now. It looks possibly like a male then, yeah. So it is a sub-adult, yeah. So it does look a lot smaller than what I remember them being. So it's probably been a good year and a half since I've seen spotted hyena. So it just goes to show nicely why leopards climb the trees, to avoid the hyenas. Hyenas have pound for pound the strongest jaws in the animal world. I forget what the pressure is now, but they have the strongest bite. So a leopard doesn't really want to be getting caught up in a hyena's jaw, and they could possibly kill a leopard, especially a young leopard like this. And yeah, I think he would be very wise to steer well clear. Of course, the hyena aren't capable of climbing the trees, especially a tree like this. Their claws are just not designed for it. Morning. Morning, guys. Do you need me to pull forward so you can get out? Oh, okay. I'm just going to wait for this vehicle to finish pulling out, and I'll see if I can move around. Just helps to keep the animals a lot more relaxed than having too many vehicles moving around the animals at any one stage. It looks like that hyena's given up. That is stunning. Sorry, I'm going to have to take pictures again. My pictures last night didn't come out too well. I wonder if that hyena, there we go, right on cue. It's not going to be silly enough to try and do anything, I hope. Just remind me of this individual. This is... Nope. It begins with an M. Musha. Yeah, it looks like Musha. I could see from the tail it's got a full tail. So this is the one we didn't get a nice view of yesterday. He was silhouetted in the tree at the back there. And the hyena's got his prize now. So he was very careless with that piece. It looks like there's still a little bit left, a bit further further up in the tree there. But it looks like it's mostly skin now. So they've eaten a lot overnight. Now I have heard of leopards, taking even giraffe carcasses up a tree, bits and pieces of giraffe, but I have seen pictures, so how on earth they got a giraffe up into a tree? I'd love to have seen it. And that hyena's back again. I wonder where his brother is then. And the mother. I can't see them in the back tree at the back there. So they are, well, he's 16 months old, 18 months old, something like that. So just around a year and a half old. So this is only my second drive in the area, so I'm still trying to learn the individual animals here. And to say each individual animal, once you get to know them, you actually get to know their character, and each animal is different. So does this individual tend to be a little bit more braver than his brother, or is it vice versa? Yeah. So he's still watching that hyena. I said earlier, they're very wary of hyena because of that bite that they can deliver. So he's obviously making sure he's going to be quite a distance away before he even attempts to come down the tree if he does decide to come down. I think if I was him, I'd stay up there where it's safe. As I say, cheetah, they're not supposed to climb trees. So that's one way you can tell if you see a spotted cat in a tree, it's not very likely to be a cheetah. Although I have actually witnessed cheetah once climbing into a tree, probably into a fork about the same height as this fork. But the tree was much larger, and they took quite a running jump at it because their claws are out constantly, just like a dog's, if you like. So they can't really climb like a leopard can with the wrist locking around the tree. So they have to take a running jump and then climb into it. So they're a lot more clumsy than a leopard, but generally cheetahs are not supposed to climb trees. This isn't the individual that we were tracking on the road. I think that male went further south. So this is just the cubs that reside in this area. Let's see if he's going to come down. Wow. I've never been this close to a leopard before. This is amazing. You can see he's just smelling around, seeing if there's anything left of what he dropped, I think. But I don't think that hyena would have left anything there. You can see that white on the tail there. Most definitely a follow me sign for the other leopards to follow, especially if they need to relay how they're feeling, so aggression or being placid. That white tip, the other leopards will be able to see it instantly. Obviously cubs will be able to follow the mother through grass. They'll be able to follow that, just like a lion's tail with the black tip. The lion cubs will also follow the tail through the grass. Got a raptor coming in as well. Oh, beautiful. Say, I don't think it was a buzzard. It looked a bit big. Tawny eagle. Shall we continue on? I don't know. What's that? You can hear something in the back there. Oh, it's the hyenas actually eating the bone. We go and see if we can have a look at it. We're allowed to go. Just going to see if we can have a view of that hyena eating. I thought he'd actually moved away quite far, but so I just heard the bone breaking then. So with hyenas actually having that very strong jaw, they eat a lot of bone, especially large chunks of bone. Lions may eat little pieces, but not as big as the hyena. So their dung actually shows quite a white coloration to it because of all the calcium from the bone. Okay, I can see him just up ahead here. So I think that little leopard was actually quite good that he's got away where he can, because this hyena's still pretty close. I mean, if he realised he was coming out the tree, but at least he has something to occupy him. Can you see past the trees? Yeah. So I don't want to scare him off. Okay, can you see? Is that okay? Yeah, you can see that impala leg in there. So they're very different to the brown hyena. Brown hyena are very nocturnal, and they have very, very long brown shaggy coats that go right to the floor actually. As you can see on this spotted hyena, you've got those large spots there. Like a penis, so it can be very difficult to tell the difference, but it doesn't act like a penis, so the male will still have to to mate the normal way, but say for IDing purposes it's quite difficult. But I think this is a young male, so no. And again, females are also in charge of the clan, so again, matriarchal society. And generally when they have the cubs, one is more stronger than the other, and generally one will dominate and eventually probably only survive by killing the other one. So it's quite an aggressive family to be in. I don't know if you can pick up the sound of the bones crunching. I think he's wanting to finish his meal before any other hyenas come and take it away from him. Aha! He's a little baby. Okay, so maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's actually a female there. The baby was hiding quite well, eh? Check, it's going to come right past the vehicle. Quite a bold little thing. Sure. Yes, I've never been that close to a hyena before, sure. You start to feel very vulnerable without this door here. Quite a young juvenile there. Probably going back to the tree, maybe seeing if it can also pick up a morsel. Well, that was really nice. I wasn't expecting to see that. So that's the thing with going off-road. It's okay getting in, it's a lot more fun trying to get out. So I don't want to damage the environment too much, so I'm trying to avoid as many trees and everything as possible.
Nothing to north of Kayamaz heading south. Okay, copy.
Looks like that young hyena's moved away now. Oh no, there it is, it's back again. Quite a bold little thing though. spotted hyena are a lot more willing to come out during the day. And again, they live as a family, a clan, and then they'll hunt usually together as a clan, or they'll go and forage, whereas the brown hyena tend to be more solitary about finding food. They tend to go more for berries, insects, as well as the carrion. They don't tend to kill as much as the spotted hyena do. I'm just waiting for it just to come out from behind the bush. Oh, is it lying down now? Okay, well, we'll leave it in peace then. That was really nice. So I wasn't expecting to see spotted hyena there as well. Although it makes a lot of sense, but as I say, we don't have spotted hyena on my reserve, so it's still very nice to see them. You just forget that they do come around and try and scavenge. That they have this stigma attached to them that they only scavenge, but they do actually hunt as well. Quite successfully. And it has been recorded now that lions will try and steal a lot from spotted hyenas. So what may have been picked up in the past is actually spotted hyenas trying to regain their prize that had already been lost to the lions. It's a possibility. We're going to continue on, see if we can bump into an elephant or a rhino, see if they're still around the dam. Sure, got some beautiful raptors around here. I'll say I'm not too familiar, there's a lot of raptors that are found here that we don't get towards the northern area. I'm taking a little bit longer to actually ID the raptors at the moment, so I do apologise for that one. Oh, kudu. Drove just past them. Female kudu there. Again, very characteristic. Looks like they're eating the marula fruits from the tree. You can see those big ears. Now, there's one or two schools of thought, possibly because they generally live in a thick bush. So obviously, when they're in a thick bush, they're not going to see as far. So the big ears might help to detect predators. Another school of thought is possibly to keep them cooler. Just like with elephant ears, they have a lot of blood vessels in those ears, so it could help to keep them slightly cooler. Could be a combination of both. And that's the beauty of it. We have all these theories, but it's very rarely that we prove them. Got the vultures circling in the background as well. I must admit, this is one of my favourite antelopes. I love seeing kudu. Kudu and impala. How beautiful. Obviously those whites on the side of the body as well, those white stripes actually help to break up the body pattern, so it's a lot more difficult to see them when they are standing in the bush. You see that movement in the neck as the food's going down. Again, they're just like cows, they are ruminants. So they will regurgitate the food and re-chew, make sure they get as much nutrients out of the food that they've eaten. So they don't need to eat as much as, say, like a zebra. So when they do regurgitate the food, they have the bacteria from the rumen that comes up and gets chewed around with the saliva as well to make that food very mushy. And they're eating mostly leaves, say the fruits as well. And that gets really nice and mushy, and then it goes through the digestive system as normal. But because it's so fine, as I say, they get a lot of nutrients out of it. Very nice. I think he's right to be a little bit wary, especially with that leopard being so close. It's starting to get quite warm again. That's possibly why we're starting to see more animals moving around now. Animals are just like humans. If it's cold, they rather stay where it's warm in the bush, and vice versa. Obviously, when it's very hot, they need the shade. So if it's very, very cold, it's very difficult to see animals out. And it could have been that it was just a little bit chilly for them this morning. Now we've got the heat again. Could be why we're seeing a few more now. As I say, when I was trained to be a ranger... Oh, we've got a snake in the road there. Yes. Can you see it? See how it went in? Gone already. Okay, it was quite shiny. It could have been a red-lipped herald. They're usually quite shiny. I don't know, what are your thoughts? Yeah. I say, it looked very, very shiny. And just under a metre long. It was possibly a red-lipped herald. Not particularly dangerous to humans, although they do have venom. It'd probably just give you quite a nasty headache if you did get bitten. But the sad thing is, people think the snakes are out to bite them all the time, and it's just not the case. The reason why snakes lift their heads with the hoods, especially the cobras if you think about them, or their puff adder starts to hiss and puff itself out, is to actually stop you coming near it, so that they don't need to bite you and waste their venom. Because if they bite you and they waste the venom on you, then it means that they can't eat. So all that energy that they've used up in making the venom is wasted because they can't use it. So that's why the snake will do all it can to avoid biting. I kind of try and put it into human terms. And say a snake, just think it's got a body, it doesn't really have any way to protect itself apart from its teeth. So if you have a knife with you, and if someone tries to attack you and you feel your life's endangered, are you going to use a knife or not? If you feel that strong that your life is threatened. So it's the same sort of thing. If the snake feels threatened, then it's going to use what it has to protect itself, and that's its teeth. A lot of the time they won't inject venom, they'll give what we call a dry bite if it ends up biting. But if it really feels that its life's being threatened, then yes, it will use its venom as well, because it needs to escape. So I think that can be said for pretty much all snakes. I have heard about the black mamba obviously being quite dangerous, but every time I've tried to see a black mamba, if someone says no, there's a black mamba there, it's always moved away. It's never reared up, it's never tried anything. And obviously if you do get bitten, it depends on where you get bitten, how much venom is injected, how old you are, your fitness, all this sort of thing. So it does depend on a lot as well, but obviously if you do get bitten by a venomous snake, then you do need to go into hospital. But what they have found now is that the anti-venom that they've been using, people are dying more of the anti-venom from an allergic shock, anaphylactic shock, so they rather treat the symptoms systematically now. So they'll put you on obviously a respirator and all that sort of thing and just get you through the toxins. And then eventually you should come out the other side, and that seems to be working a lot more for snake bites than the anti-venom nowadays, as far as I understand. A lot of the comelinas here, little blue flower all along this roadside here. As this bush starts to open out a bit, I'm expecting to see rhino tracks or something with the rhinos, especially the white rhino. They prefer the grasslands. So with there being a lot of grass around here, I expect to start to see some sign of them moving through this area at least. A lot of marula trees for the elephants as well. Looks like the start of the rhino midden there, but I want to try and find a nicer one to show you. Something just up ahead there. Or is it just a tree stump? No, it is a baboon. Nice baboon up ahead. Now how are the baboons in this area? Are they quite relaxed? Not really. I say in our reserve again, it was old farmland, so the baboons there tend to run away when they hear cars or see humans. We're not that close and he's moved off. Say, baboons are family orientated animals, so you'll find troops can even be up to 100, but generally not as large as that. So if there's one, then we should be seeing more around here. We're on the road again. He's checking us out, going on his back legs. Let's say again, they use what they have, so they'll either stand on their back legs to get an advantage point, or they'll stand on a termite mound, sit on a termite mound, so they can actually see what's going on. So these guys don't want to stick around this morning. Off into the bush already. I take it we're on the northern boundary now. Yeah. You can hear the baboons. Just having a look here, see if we can see them again. And the baboons tend to have, oh, what have we got in the road? It looks like a tortoise. Now, are you allowed to pick them up in this reserve or not? Where's the dog? I just want to see if I can. bats, hinge tortoise.
Yeah, that's huge.
We've got a little hinge tortoise. Now the reason why they call it a hinge is because of the hinge at the back here. So you can see the shell here. Now this one's quite a feisty little one. But yeah, it's got a little, it almost looks like a little hinge here. Now we've got to be very careful with tortoises because especially in the winter we don't like picking them up because they have what we call a bursa sac, and that contains liquid so that when the females lay the eggs they can actually release this liquid so it makes the ground quite soft so that she can actually dig and lay her eggs. Now in winter if you pick them up they will actually use this bursa sac as a method to deter a predator, and obviously if they think that you're a predator they'll use this method, and in winter obviously it's more difficult to find water, so that's why we try and avoid picking them up during the winter so that they don't waste this valuable liquid on us picking them up basically. Now, this one's getting a little bit edgy, but you can see here this is actually a male because of this indent in the shell. So the males have this indent so they can mount the females a little bit easier. So the females are quite flat. But I'm going to go and put him down. He's getting a little bit unhappy with me. Well, that's very nice. So you don't really get to see the tortoises. Probably seen 2, 3 on the property. As I was saying with baboons, they make a very loud call, and with the males you tend to have 1 through to 5 males in charge. Again, a hierarchy, a dominance hierarchy, so an alpha male through to the lower ranking males, and they will shout, so they have a very loud bark, and that can be heard for quite a few k's away if they're in the right position. It's just known as an oligarchy society, so it just has more than one male in charge. Some arrow-marked babblers in this tree here. Again, unfortunately, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear them, but they make quite a loud racket. I don't know if you can see, but there you go, they're flying off. So there's quite a few in the family, and they constantly call to each other. Now this is allomimetic behavior, quite a long word. All it means is that they're trying to strengthen the bonds between the family, and they constantly call. So that's what that's about. So it's not necessarily predators or anything like that, but it's just strengthening that bond all the time. But they do have predatorial behavior, so if there is predators around they will have certain calls, and they will let you know. They're even more loud than what they are now. I don't know if you can pick it up. They're very, very loud. So if you've got them outside your room, they keep you awake first thing in the morning. I can hear the crown checker again calling quite far off with his drunken whistle. Sure, it's getting quite hot now. It's amazing, all the cloud that was building up is actually dispersed now. You're left with some beautiful cirrus clouds. This means a warm front's on its way. Especially with that moon up ahead as well. It's quite beautiful. We're just trying to look quite deep into the bush again, see if there's any giveaway signs. Even giraffe in this area, especially with the acacias and the knobthorns being in this area. Should see some giraffe. Do you have many giraffe on the concession? There's a lot of vultures around still this morning, hey? It's very nice to see. Do you have any marabou stork around? So marabou stork, I'd love to see actually feeding off a carcass. Apparently they can take pieces of meat They're quite large, like 600 grams. Some very, very large pieces of meat. It looks like a white-backed vulture just flew over there. Quite a strong smell again. We've got a Franklin just in the road, crossing the road there. We've got a nice white-backed vulture in the tree there. That's very nice. Let's see him. Oh, not quick enough. So vultures mainly detect the carcasses by its size. But there are vultures, I think it's the turkey. Okay, so we'll see if the elephant's made a turn down here. Possibly the rhino as well. It looks like those vultures are circling, but it could be that the buffalo kill that we saw yesterday with the lions there. As I say, the turkey vulture actually detects the carrion by smell. Very, very acute sense of smell. So with the elephants, you should be able to smell them. They smell quite strong. That breeze is very nice now, eh? Easy. It's funny, I get asked a lot, why did I come out to South Africa? The sun, of course. But definitely for the animals as well. As I say, it does make life a little bit more pleasant to have the sun shining. And as I say, I always wanted to experience the wild. That's why I didn't want to just visit it on holiday. I wanted to actually live it. I was lucky enough to go to Sumatra to look for tigers out there, and slept out in the Indonesian bush out there for a couple of nights, and I absolutely loved it. And when I saw you could train to become a ranger on the internet, and a colleague of mine had done a month's course, I thought, you know what, I'd love to try that out, and that's why I thought I'd give it a go. And I always thought I was going to return home, but I loved it so much. At the end of the year I decided I think I'll stay. So I managed to organise a work visa to stay on at the reserve, and 4 years down the line I'm still here, still loving it. I think one of the beautiful things about this country is the diversity of it. I say you've got everything and anything from the Drakensberg right through to obviously the plains, the Free State, the coastal areas. It's just amazing how diverse it is. Fantastic country, I must admit. I've fallen in love with it quite deeply. There's a lot of old elephant dung on the road, but it's all very spread out. And there's a baboon just up ahead again. I'm just going to see if I can stand by here and just see. Oh, and there's an impala with him as well. Now, that's quite unusual. But obviously I just saw it put its head up. It's actually a ram with the horns there. Because baboons have been known, especially male baboons, have been known to take baby impala. So that's why it kind of threw me a little bit. But with it being a male, the baboons probably wouldn't even try and attack a fully grown male impala. It looks like this troop's a little bit more settled than the other troop. As I say, the baboons and the impala are probably working together, more eyes and ears to detect predators. So if one detects a predator, then that means that they all will know. And probably the baboons might have been feeding up in the tree, and maybe seeds or fruits may have dropped down, and that's what the impala's feeding on. As I know in other countries, especially like in Asia, I know the monkeys there, they do a similar thing. They will feed on the trees, and the fruit that drops, the cheetle, the axis deer will actually go and eat. So it's quite a normal combination to have. As I say, I've never seen baboon and impala, say for the reason I've just said, but there we go, we're having it. Just going to see if we can creep a little bit closer. They've all seemed to have disappeared behind the tree. So don't want them to disappear on us.
Good afternoon, good morning guys. Afternoon, morning for this floating down my pipe. Thank you. Afternoon, morning, same time.
Quite a cheeky one, that one there. There you go, going into the tree to look for the fruit there. Yeah, there's a few male impala there. It looks like the other baboons are just clearing up what marulas are left. Oh, and there's a kingfisher coming in as well. Well, flying that way. Again, baboons are very opportunistic. They will eat insects as well as fruit, leaves, even carrion. As I say, they will eat meat if they really want to, especially the dominant males. Again, they are different to monkeys. If you see how they walk, especially that one on the branch there, I don't know if you can see it, but they actually walk when they're on all fours, and the tail sort of droops over, whereas monkeys tend to hold it quite either flat or upright depending on where they're moving. And obviously the size difference as well. And the baboons have much more of a pronounced muzzle, so it sort of sticks out rather than on the vervid monkey that we have here. They've got more of a flat face. Okay, the impala is actually looking quite alert. He's picked something up. His ears, his whole body posture. Oh, okay. He's decided it's nothing to worry about, but when they sort of go very alert, they're focused, there's usually something to watch out for. Now, impala always look really well groomed. I don't know if you've noticed, especially if you have a look at the male in front of us now. They always look really well groomed, and their teeth are slightly loose in the bottom of their jaw, and they move by about 2 mils, and it acts like a comb. So when they comb each other, they actually groom each other, and those teeth just help to separate the fur, and it gets more ticks, more dead fur out. So they always look in really good condition, well groomed. And actually both of these species will do what we call allo grooming. It just strengthens bonds between herd members or troop members. I'm just going to pull over so another vehicle can actually come in. No problem. Station calling Tiger.
got a question to send down for admin, please. While this, what happened to your private channel? It hasn't been working since last night. But it was not as latest as the last. Just not transmitting properly as Feda as quarantine area. There is no way to constitute standard control in the Giga. That's why we're using good development to apologize about it. That's why we put it up. Yes, thanks. If you guys have a problem, just keep it short. So we can go out and install my center render. Thanks very much. That we all do.
Oh, there's a terrapin that just slid into the water there. Coming towards the end of my drive now. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I must admit those foam nest frogs were really a highlight this morning, and that spotted hyena that came right down by the side of the vehicle, and obviously that left it in daylight now, which was pretty awesome. So unfortunately we didn't catch up with that elephant, but hopefully the guys will have some look. But thank you very much for being on drive with me, and I hope I get to see you in the future sometime. But take care.
Good morning, everybody. Pedro on Follow Control here, and what a wonderful drive of Tara and all the phenomenal knowledge and information that she shared with you, and it was very, very nice to have you out there this morning and again last night. And we'll see you guys this afternoon. I think that was the end of Tara's tryout this morning, and she'll be heading home this afternoon. I'm not too sure what is the plan. But yeah, so we'll see you guys later. Just enjoy Gowrie Dam, and Alam will be in Follow Control this morning again, entertaining you and trying to find some interesting stuff around Gowrie Dam. And we'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. What is today? The 4th of February 2010 in the Jumagari Reserve, South Africa. And bye bye, everybody. Chat to you later.